Back now with our breaking news tonight. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggars speaking out about their son Josh and the sexual molestation scandal surrounding their family. Back with me now, Lisa Bloom, Janet Johnson, John Cafaro, and Nichelle Turner, and relationship therapist Elizabeth Mandel and Nell Gibbon Daly, a psychotherapist and writer. I have to let you, doctor, respond to what Lisa Bloom said, because you were raring to respond to that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me first say that I'm not in disagreement with any of the comments that are made about holding the child responsible, holding the offender responsible. But from a clinical point of view, the tasks involved in helping this family heal are different than what the judicial system has to do. In fact, this is why these cases are so complex. So I was only trying to suggest that indeed the entire family, while there was one offender in this case as far as we know, and that's also a question, that's only as far as we know. But nonetheless, the entire family, particularly the parents, are most responsible for maintaining this behavior, because it obviously was disclosed and then it continued on. So my only comment is that everyone in this family deserves compassion, because they're all going to have to go through a pretty tough time if they're going to actually be able to deal with the denial on multiple levels and keeping the children safe. And let's not forget, there's at least one victim who's not in the family that we haven't heard from either. Mm-hmm. And without knowing their stories and what really would be consistent with, you know, what Josh has said, we really only have anecdotal reports to go on here. So there's a lot of information that is still lost.
The parents say they feel like failures. Listen.
I think as parents, we felt, oh, we're failures. You know, here we tried to raise our kids to do what's right, to know what's right. And yet, one of our children made some really bad choices. And I think as a parent, we were devastated.
Nell, what does this do to a family?
I think it's obviously very devastating for the family. The one thing that concerns me is that when, you know, in the last few years since they've been on television, they've come out and on certain political issues having certain very conservative stances on things. And I think that what I've heard in my community with my colleagues is that there was an element of self-righteousness sometimes that they portrayed in the family. And then now we see this side of them that they clearly hid, which, you know, becomes very problematic both for the family to heal from.
Does it seem to you like they're speaking sort of above their heads, above their knowledge of the actual situation, the severity of the situation?
It does. It sounds like they're downplaying it to protect their reputation as a family. I think that part of the reason why they're doing this is to protect their children from, you know, mockery. But ultimately, you know, the parents need to come to terms with the truth, and the family, yes, needs to heal from this together.
Yeah. But they live with this. They're going to live with the stigma of this. Mm-hmm. They're still having to be in the same family and deal with the person who perpetrated this molestation or abuse. 19 children in the family, 4 abused, and then there's Josh. Do you think that they all need to be in therapy?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Yes.
You do?
Yes, obviously, yeah. I mean, you know, the thing is that the treatment for what these girls went through would be different than what the perpetrator went through, and then obviously the ramifications just keep going outward, right? So having family therapy and individual therapy for all of the people involved is massively important.
Even 14 kids, even the kids who weren't involved.
Oh yeah, because look at what they're going to face going forward, just publicly, knowing that this has happened, and some of the children are still quite small. So how do they begin to make sense of this? And one of the ways that we do make sense of trauma that happens in a family is by talking about it.
Yeah. Is Nichelle Turner still with us, or did Nichelle?
No, I'm here, Don.
Okay.
I haven't left.
Okay, so Nichelle, tell us about Josh Duggar, because he has kids, and doesn't he have one on the way?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 kids, 1 on the way, and yeah, you know, we did hear him speak often from the Parents Research Council about very conservative views. He was taking a leadership role there, and that's kind of what has him, you know, also in this situation is the fact that we heard him say, like the ladies were talking about, sounding a bit self-righteous on a lot of different issues, and now we're seeing kind of his past come back to haunt him.
Nichelle, does he have to talk?
It will be interesting. Well, he doesn't have to, but should he? Absolutely. And would we like for that to happen? Yes. And would I like for him to do that with me on Entertainment Tonight? Yeah.
I would love for him to do it right here
know why
on
that's
CNN
important,
Tonight.
Don?
On either one of these Tonight shows, but CNN Tonight preferably, and then to Michelle Turner. Because I really would, as a survivor, honestly, I really would like to talk to him and talk to this family, anyone in this family.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you, Lisa,
should
do you
talk
think
to
he should
you.
talk? Yeah, go ahead, Lisa. Should he talk?
Yeah, and you know why that's important? Because in 2002 to 2006, when this all went down, the family circled around to protect Josh Duggar. And today, in 2015, exactly the same thing is happening. The whole family is protecting Josh Duggar, who is at the center of this, who has not come forward to speak, even though he is a grown man. I think that's very sad. And you know what? Therapy is great. I'm all in favor of it for everybody in the family. But you know what's even better for victims? Accountability and justice. That's what I traffic in because I represent victims. A little accountability goes a long way to healing victims.
As much as we all have faith and belief, and I have faith and belief, but that is not therapy. God and religion are not therapy. You need professional therapy when you're dealing with this. We'll be right back, everyone. We'll continue to talk.